basically the kind of content can live in many places in Gridly. You have several ways to actually organize data, but in general, as a structure, you can have various projects here. Inside the project level, you can have various databases, which can also act as a data separation layers. In Gridly, you can define exactly what people have access to, what they can see, what they can edit, read, to kind of separate out content. So you can have, you can have several ways. You can have, for example, the next release in another database, although we do support version control, as Chris mentioned, so I'll talk about that. So you can use branching as well. But in general, for example, if a project is the app itself, you can have a database for obviously all the in-app stuff. Marketing, website can be another database, legal content, things like that. Basically, you can just use the databases as kind of like a data separation layer within the project itself. And then inside the project, you can have the actual grids, as we call them. So this is essentially the file level, although a grid doesn't necessarily relate to a file, because technically, if you want and if you need to, you can store multiple files inside of a single grid as well. So that's kind of a, if you have a dozen Excel sheets, it doesn't necessarily relate to a dozen grids. You can have like a grid or a couple grids out of those dozen Excel sheets and manage them inside of the one place. And then the way you can actually get content in here, which is obviously very important, you also have several ways. So you can import a file, you can update grids from a file from disk, or multiple files, of course. So you can import your Excel sheets, JSON files, PO files, XMLs, things like that, HTMLs, all that good stuff. We also have a Google Sheet integration, for example, among various connectors. So you can connect to Google Sheet, obviously, sync content. So even if, for example, just to migrate data into Gridly, you can use and sync the existing Google Sheets in here, or some of our clients, as they collaborate with external users, external vendors, for example, they still maintain at least some of the Google Sheet um, stuff they have. Second, a bit more in detail, we also have an open API. So you can directly hook up the app to Gridly and sync content back and forth. And obviously, we do have connections to versioning systems as well. So if you guys use like Perforce or Git or any of that, we can, via the API, hook into those systems, and we can sync branches into Gridly branches as well